Come on in, come on in, come on in. If you've never been in a Post Sports locker room, allow me, Chase Shady, James Jones, myself, to welcome you into ours. This is when we keep it real. Other shows, they will lie to you, sitting behind the desk, buttoned up in a suit. Nah, in the locker room, this is when it goes down, and the realest conversation we have to have, not get to have, we have to have, is about Anthony Richardson. I know y'all seen it. He took himself out of the game on Sunday. Hold on. I need to turn that down. Oh, okay. Bruh, he took himself out of the game, an NFL game on Sunday. We thought he was hurt, maybe an ACL, maybe a rib, maybe a wrist, anything. He just tapped. Tap. After the game, he said he was just tired. Head coach Shane Steichen said they're evaluating everything, meaning he could get benched. In the locker room, I had to ask you all, 39 years of NFL experience, nowhere else do you find that. I think it's the right move to bench him. I think you have to bench him. Because in the NFL, y'all got to remember, I have to remember, it's a privilege, not a right. Like playing in the NFL is a privilege. It is not a right. And Anthony Richardson is acting as though it's his right to be on the football field. See, when it's your right, you can leave the football field if you're tired because you know, I'm just going to go back out there because that's my right. We got birth rights. It's your right to vote in America. But when it's a privilege, no, you don't take privileges for granted because you know a privilege could be gone in a moment. I think Anthony Richardson has to be benched momentarily, at least to remind him, bro, playing in the NFL, it's a privilege. It ain't a right. You ain't got no rights out there, and you wouldn't just so loosely give away privilege.
So when you bench him for a game, a couple of games?
I would probably make Flacco the starter because they're a better team with Flacco anyway.
But Flacco's what? His James age is 40-something?
Yeah, 38, I believe.
What are we doing with that?
Hold up, man.
Yeah. Look how well he played last year.
What happened, bro?
I'm still young.
You can still play? No, I didn't say.
Only.
No, I'm saying. All I'm saying is that so you bench him for Flacco, right? Who's been playing good, you know. But it's like, what does that do? He ain't gonna be your future quarterback. You draft this guy in the top 5 for a reason, so he's supposed to be your franchise quarterback for the years, right? This is a bad message. So okay, the kid had a collapse, right? He freaking got tired from running around and tapped out, which is wrong. I never seen him before. It's wrong.
No, it's crazy. Not for a quarterback.
Okay, right. I get all that. He's a young kid though, right? I said this before. He didn't have no great super career at Florida. Did that happen?
Not at all.
He didn't have a whole bunch of starts at Florida. That didn't happen either. Okay, so hey, look, man, we don't do that here in this league. We don't do that. I'm gonna sit him down and talk to him because that's what Andy Reid would do. That's the best coach of football would do.
Yeah. Coach him up.
Only had 10 starts in the league, so he still is fresh, he still is new. Listen, you correct him on that, because he's supposed to lead your team in the future. If he benches him, what does that show the team?
It shows him that you care about the team. Shady, you realize
putting a 40-year-old man that's not going.
If they would have beat the Texans, which I suggest based upon how that game went,
they're better than
Flacco. If they would have beat the Texans, they're winning the AFC South right now.
Yeah.
They're winning because they lost.
So they're game behind.
A game and a half now because of the breaker.
Okay,
so it's like the difference between benching him and starting him from my mind and my money is like that's winning and losing the division. That's the playoffs. Like it's too big a deal, James, for him to act like it's not.
Yeah, my first initial thought was no. Because like Shady said, you drafted this dude in the top 5 to be your franchise quarterback, right? He's different than Bryce Young. Bryce Young played a lot of football, right? He had a lot of experience coming into the National Football League. He got thrown into a bad situation, not a lot of good players around him. He struggled. Let's sit him down a little bit. Let's let him refocus, whatever it may be. But when I watch Anthony Richardson play, he's far, far off. He has a huge arm. We ain't gonna deny. But playing the quarterback position in the National Football League, he's far, far off just from that point. And then mentally, he's far, far off. He ain't reading the right coverages. Obviously, he's tapping himself out. Where we do that at, bruh? We don't do that nowhere. You're a quarterback. You trot back out there. I don't care if you hike it at 1. But he's not a good quarterback right now. He has a 44% completion percentage, right? That ain't been done since 2000. Dog wasn't even born yet. Like, he just ain't playing the quarterback. So, for me, this team has a chance to make it into the playoffs.
They do.
Everybody is much better with Joe Flacco in there right now, 40 or not. Everybody's better with him in the game. Yeah. You have a chance to go to the playoffs, and your best chance to do that is Joe Flacco in the game. But not only that, I think the biggest thing is to let him watch Joe Flacco. Let him learn a little bit. Let him sit back a little bit. Let him see how Joe Flacco prepares. Let him see how Joe Flacco diagnoses these defenses and all that. Let him see that, and I think that will help him. Because right now, I don't see it changing with him. They're just throwing him out there to play. Because it's the same plays. He running the read option, 1 or 2 shot plays. That's the offense.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So it ain't like he's like growing out there. He's not.
Speaking of, because I don't love stats, but you said it. You brought up 44% completion percentage.
Yeah.
Over the last 35 seasons, only 4 quarterbacks have a completion percentage of 44% or worse. Over the last 35 years, Akili Smith, 2000 Bengals, Mike McMahon, Josh Freeman, and Anthony Richardson. He's not throwing the football well.
Right.
And
He ain't seeing it.
He's not seeing it well. He's not throwing it well. And I go back and forth because I sort of agree with Shady. Like, at first thought, like, it's only his 10th career start. You drafted him for a reason. You have an old guy in Joe Flacco, how well he's playing, right? And all that hits my mind. But then I go back to the film.
Okay.
And I go back to what I'm seeing out of Anthony Richardson. And I go back to, it's a gift to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Your owner, your coach, your GM, your team believed in you, and they're giving you this gift of starting. You can't go out there and tap out. It shows the wrong thing,
true.
right? And when you're at the position, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. He is not right now. I do think, and I was one of his biggest fans coming into the year.
No question.
But right now, they are a much better team than 4-4. And I think Joe Flacco right now, even for a few games, and especially the next game coming up because it's the Minnesota Vikings with all those pressure packages, it's going to blow the young quarterback's head off. So I think that Joe Flacco probably right now gives them the best chance.
So let me bring this up to you guys, right? So he got drafted 2 years ago, correct? Yep. Yeah. So when he got drafted, did you watch that draft? Did you watch when he got drafted? You too?
Yeah.
Right. Was you guys surprised?
How I got drafted?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You were too,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. Everybody was surprised.
Yep. We knew we had the talent, but surprised he was up.
Why was we so surprised?
Because he wasn't good in
He
college.
didn't play a lot of football.
There we go. So that team took a risk on him. So they knew it was a project. The way y'all all three are talking like this quarterback was already arrived, like he was a Bryce Young, like he was Caleb Williams. He wasn't that.
No.
When they decided to draft him, they knew it was going to be a project.
No doubt.
Because this dude wasn't proven in college. Yeah. So now when you have a project, it doesn't happen overnight.
No doubt.
It takes time.
No doubt.
But the way y'all talking, it's not taking time.
No, I'm not saying give up on
You
him.
tell him, hold up. I don't know what you saying giving up on is, but when you say stuff like, let's let Joe Flacco come here at 40-something years old who's going to retire eventually one of these months, right? And our guy we drafted in the fifth pick overall, our top 5 draft pick, that was a project that we was going to take some time to get good. You making him sit the bench. Hold on.
No, I'm listening.
What about the confidence? I don't know if you guys ever was starting and then you got benched.
No doubt.
And then we say, hey, go out there and play again. You lose confidence. And then when you're young, all I'm saying is this is a young dude that was a project that knew it was going to be overnight. Let this dude go through the growing pains. Right? The leadership qualities. Give him all that. It's going to take time. But when y'all throwing him away like that, it's like, yo, he was already proven he was never that.
So a couple things for me here. All right?
Crazy.
Number one, when you tap yourself out as a quarterback, that tells me that you don't think you're going to get benched. You think this is my team. You think this is how the way it's going to go.
Okay.
Because I've been in some situations, too, to where, like, I got to play hurt. I ain't tapping myself out because I know if I do take myself out, I might not get back in. So he don't have to fear of that, which
he
is
went
cool.
top 5.
No doubt.
He's not a third rounder.
What I'm saying is some of the greatest quarterbacks that we have seen have sit and watched. All I'm saying is
back then
you haven't, the Patties, the Aarons, the Jordan Loves, a lot of them have just sat and watched. So my thing is you're not playing good right now on top. Forget tapping yourself out. You're not playing good football right now. You're not seeing the field the right way. Your receivers is not better with you out there.
But you already knew this,
I understand that, but sometimes part of the process can mean you need to chill and sit back and watch this a little bit.
I also, Shady, I knew a lot of Anthony Richardson. I knew he didn't have a good completion percentage. I didn't think he was a good quarterback in college. His best play was a 2-point conversion. We don't talk about that enough. But, Shady, I didn't think it would be this immature. Not football field, not even necessarily what he's playing
this adds another layer.
But this adds another layer of immaturity. If you were so hurt that you could miss time, Anthony Richardson, after you messed up your hip, you can't go back in the game. Because if that one play that you decided to go back in the game cost you the next 2 or 3 games, dude, you're too valuable to your franchise. You're too valuable, Anthony Richardson, to tap out on 3rd and goal. Like, I don't think Anthony Richardson realizes the gravity of the position. Yeah. This isn't Florida. This isn't high school. This is the National Football League, $5, $6, $7 billion franchises that you hold the keys to. I don't think, Shady, he knows the gravity. I agree with you on
what if he don't know, though? And what if he needs some veterans in the locker room, some coaches to sit him down and have this conversation, not benching?
But whose expense? Like, I was thinking about it while you were talking. How can I put it in a real-world example? Whenever I go out to a restaurant and you know when you see, like, 2 waiters or waitresses come up, I'm always confused. Why are there 2 of y'all, right? And one is always learning. And the one that's learning, I'm like, cool, please learn. Just don't learn at my expense.
Yeah, you like
so
that.
If you're not ready to take the order, stay behind, let the other one take the order, and then when you are ready, I'll see you back next week.
Do you?
I do. Don't stereotype your boy. I'll see you next week. But if Anthony Richardson is not ready,
it's too late for that, though.
Just sit behind Flacco.
I don't think it is. And sometimes, Shady, when it comes to the business of quarterback, exactly like we're saying, sometimes, because I was on the bench most of my career, right? But I got some starts, and I learned a lot more on the bench watching from the sideline. Anthony Richardson is probably going to be that franchise quarterback. Sometimes in situations like this, when you're not playing well and then you tap out on your team, and sometimes it's good to take a step back.
Give me an example like that, though. Because I've been looking that up. Like, where a young quarterback that's drafted super high, right? He starts, okay? And then they bench him.
It'd be Tua. Remember, he started, then bench him for Fitzpatrick, and then they put him back in. It would be Tua. That would be the best example. And he ended up playing well.
But he didn't come off starting, though.
He didn't start starting. Then he ended up starting.
Okay, so what I say is, I'm gonna ask y'all this simple question. Give me another example where we make you the starter, though, right? Day one. We make you start. Make you the starter. It's your team. It's the keys, right? Then we bench you, right? And then you know what? You learned enough from watching on the bench. Now it's time for you to start again. Tell me where that happens at.
Sometimes you know why it's too much for him.
You know why it doesn't happen like that? Because you're killing the confidence. Yo, we watching the best baseball player hitting wise, right, in the World Series. The home run king this year. We watching him playing with no confidence. If a veteran like that could play like that with no confidence, what the hell do you think a rookie would do that wasn't proven in college?
My only thing.
Hey, hold on before you give me your only thing, because it's like now, because I'm getting in my feelings a little bit. Because I played with certain players that wasn't mature, that was real young, right? And if the coach, if Andy Reid would have sat there and benched him and gave him all this discipline and all that, he might not have been the player he was. I won't even say the kid's name. All I'm saying is that we are brothers here. We play this game.
No doubt.
Lift up the young boy. We ain't trying to throw him in the fire. No. Give me some criticism and get him moving.
But we've all played too, though, Shady. And I think the best thing that Chase said was watching the tape. When you watch Anthony Richardson play the game, he's not ready.
Did you watch that in college? That's what I'm saying.
But
when you take a project, right, you already know this. The same completion rate he has now, he had in college, right?
Yeah.
So you already knew you had to, eventually, I got to break this guy out of it. It takes time.
Understandable. When I watch the tape, he's way far off than I thought he was going to be. I thought he would be a better player, especially the way he started off last year. He looked like, hey, man, you know what you're doing.
How much you running?
Now, he does not look like he knows what he's doing. The team looks way better with Flacco because we've seen that this year. This year, he does not look like he knows. So when I turn on the tape, and even as a player, confidence-wise, whatever it may be, and you're not producing and you're not playing at a high level, and we're better with this dude, sit and chill.
And I think that's the decision that the Colts have, because I truly believe that the Colts think they're not that far off. And if the one hindrance, and it has been a hindrance this year, is Anthony Richardson quarterback, and you have Joe Flacco, Super Bowl MVP, waiting in the wings, you can try him. I don't think it's going to kill his confidence for a couple games to see what he does and see what you have in Joe Flacco.
It might make him more hungry.
I don't think it will.
I'm done. Y'all sit there telling me that. I just want to get this straight. If a top 5 draft pick, right, he only has 10 starts, you bench him, you put his old 40-year-old player there, and they're doing better. They're playing better, right?
Playing better.
So now I throw for, 10-yard out, it's incomplete. Joe Flacco throw it incompletion. Everybody's happy, right? Y'all telling me that they going to kill his kid's confidence to throw him back in there?
Are you willing to miss the playoffs if you stick with Anthony Richardson and not have a good team? That's what I'm saying.
When you draft player in the top 5,
I get it.
Right?
That's what
But I'm saying that's for your future.
But my thing is...
So let Joe balls out and they go to playoffs, right? They don't win nothing, but they go to playoffs. Then what?
Hopefully he got a chance to see Joe, and you learn it.
Hopefully.
Like, I'll put it like this. I didn't think the Colts I didn't think the Colts would be this good. That's why I'm changing my opinion. I didn't think the Colts would actually be a legitimate playoff team without Anthony Richardson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that they were all rebuilding. But now I'm like, no, the team is actually
good. They're a game out of the playoffs.
But when they draft him, you knew there was going to be a project. That's what I'm saying. You already knew this already.
Sometimes in projects, you got to take a step back before you move forward.
My thing
so y'all are playing for 1 year. I'm looking at the whole duration of this contract.
I'm looking at the whole thing.
You can't.
Why not?
If I'm your franchise dude, right? You draft me. You knew I was a project. I didn't know I was going to get taken that high. I knew what I did in college. Okay, then you take me, right? And on my 10th start, you talking about benching me for this old dude that's a temporary player. Hold on. So now, if whatever happens with that, you going to come back to me. And you want me to be ready to play?
Well, I'm saying you need more development. So I'm saying at practice, we need to show you these looks. At practice, we need to see you do this.
You don't think they doing that?
I don't know because he ain't showing it out there. I think he needs more of it. And my thing is I've been benched before, and I've been sitting on the sideline like I can't wait to get my opportunity because it mean that much to me. At one point, I've been benched, third, fourth year in the league?
That's different. You've been 3, 4 years.
No, you ain't doing your job. You ain't doing your job.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.